All righty. Well, welcome everybody. Super excited to get everybody joined up here today. If you're watching a recording of this, we're super excited that you are taking the time to invest in your business and wanting to know how to grow your profit. If you don't know a lot about our background, Jeff and I, we're brothers, and we are all about helping people to scale, helping business owners to scale their business 2 to 10x in 3 to 5 years. That's our big passion. Our big audacious goal is to partner with business owners that want to scale their business quickly. And you might just be coming to get to know us. You may not have known who we are or what we do. We're glad that you're watching this video. We're super passionate about taking the strategies, tactics, and proven systems that we've been able to develop over the last 25 years. Both of us have been working as entrepreneurs in different businesses. Jeff will tell you a little bit more about his background and what he's done to build multi-million-dollar successful businesses, have big successful 8-figure exits. I'll tell you a little bit more about building an $8 million coaching business that was or has been just an absolute blessing, and been able to do it through the practical strategies that we're going to be sharing with you over this next couple of hours. We don't know if we're going to go for 2 hours. We postured this as a workshop setting. We may not last the full 120 minutes or 2 hours, but if you have questions, would love to see it in the chat. Would love to be able to address concepts, concerns, barriers that you're dealing with right now in your business, because this is a workshop. We'd love to be able to give you strategies, tactics, and answers, or at least recommendations, give you some strategies for next steps, places that you can go to get answers. And what we found in helping other business owners to scale their business is that there's some very common issues that we deal with. And so we're going to address some of those today. And we're really going to go through 7 specific questions that we want you to answer to help you to have a better chance of scaling your business, whether it's 2 or 10x in the next 3 to 5 years. But one of the big issues that we deal with and see a common is a real lack of vision, lack of clarity. We like to say that growing a business requires focus and it requires clarity. There's going to be times of ambiguity. There's going to be times that you're trying new things and they're just, wild guesses that you're trying to prove out to be true. But you need to have a clear vision of what it is that you want to build. We need to start eliminating fear and limiting beliefs to help you to go to a level of success that you haven't been at before. And many times people are missing a guide. They miss having somebody that's been there that they can learn from. And there's been a lot of courses and programs that people have participated in, but they don't necessarily have a trusted guide that's done what they want to do. And the next problem is inefficient marketing and low sales volume. So we're going to be talking a little bit about that today. And then we're going to have follow-up workshops that you can participate in if you'd like to in our 30-day challenge that's going to really help you to grasp at a deeper level some of these real challenges and opportunities. And then margins and high expenses is that one of the biggest things that Jeff has said repeatedly. Profitable revenue fixes everything. And when you don't have profitable revenue, it's like you don't have enough oxygen and you oftentimes will choke. So we, as business owners, we miss opportunities to improve our profitability and our margins. We have extra costs that are not necessarily generating value. And so we look to cut those costs to improve profitability. And then the other thing is that there's not enough value add. So we're going to talk a little bit more about how you can increase the value that you're delivering so that you can increase your margins and increase your profits. And if you take advantage of some of the strategies that we're going to share, you're going to get a chance to learn about how to scale sales and marketing and do a better job in improving your overall business. So the 6 steps that we are all about when it comes down to helping businesses to scale is the first step is assessing your capacity to scale, understanding your current reality. Where are the problems? Where's the pain? Where's the barriers? Where's the limitations? And once we understand where we're at and where we want to go, then we can refine a business plan and a financial scorecard to help you to scale the mountain. If you can see the picture on the screen, it's, kind of giving you a visual of climbing the mountain. So we kind of look at, scaling a business is like scaling a mountain or rising up to your peak performance. And marketing is the 3rd step, and really understanding who your ideal client profile is, and then what are the strategies, tactics, and tools that are going to help you to generate consistent incoming leads, qualified leads, to help you to have a good conversion rate and to have those clients continue to come back, or customers continue to come back, or to be building new clients all the time. Sales, having good sales systems to improve the quantity of sales, the quality of sales, and the repeat business that are going to help your business to continue to sustain itself well beyond that initial first purchase. Leadership skills, as we grow a business, when you grow to a higher altitude, you oftentimes need a new attitude, because there's going to be new levels and new devils. When you grow up a level, you're going to have more challenges and problems that you get paid really well for those things, but you have to grow in your leadership skills, because you're never going to outperform your personal and professional development. And then the last piece is the operational side of things, really just streamlining your business. And so these 6 steps, or this 6-step process, is what we are hoping to deliver to all of you. This session is all going to be about the first step. It's going to be all about assessing your ability and your capacity to scale your business. And we're going to be walking through these 7 questions and giving you some feedback. But before I do that, let me, without further ado, I'm going to introduce Jeff and have Jeff share a little bit about his journey to where he is today and his success in business. And Jeff, you want to walk us through a little walk down memory lane and how you got to the point of having such great success as a business owner?
Yeah, it's funny. Thanks for setting this up for us, and happy to be here and talk a little bit about, you know, my journey, our journey, the journey. I stayed the night at my Lake Elsinore house last night, and I'm sitting out on the patio, and it's an amazing, day here. It's just sunny Southern California. I'm sitting there looking out the lake, and it's funny, just going back at sitting down and building out, what my dream life looked like. I'd have a house in the mountains, a house on the water, the boat, the jet skis, and it's funny just to kind of sit in it and dreams that came true. Pretty cool with vision and some goals, and started with setting that that big goal, vision, scorecard to get me there. So this is all, it's all part of it. So somebody was asking me this morning, what are you doing this for? Because that lake, if you see that lake behind me, it's like perfect glass right now, right? And I'm like a wakeboarder, jet skier, and that water just looks perfect. A little chilly, it's April, but it's like I wish I was out there right now, right? So what keeps you on Zoom calls and doing all this for business if I could just be out on my boat or jet skiing, or and it's like I would really like to bring 10 people that have a business. Maybe they're making $100,000 a year, maybe they're making $1 million a year, and get them to 10x their revenue, right? Go along for that ride and help them, become multimillionaires and have big exits. Maybe we could experience, I had an 8-figure exit a couple of years ago. Maybe we can take people along for this ride, everything that I've learned, for like a 9-figure exit. I just had a friend of mine sell his company for $440 million. I'm like, dear God, that's $500 million, 90% in cash, 10%. He just got his earnout. It was amazing. So, just what are we doing this for? I think there'll be some satisfaction in bringing some people, with us, along the way, or helping them on their journey. And, everything I've learned in business for 30 years, and, some pretty big failures too. Like we talked about, mom and dad having a business, and after 25 years of self-employed, they lost that business. They didn't make the change that needed to be done. And we had to live through watching them, have to start over. And then I had one of those on my own in 2008, right? Built a big mortgage company with 70 employees making $3 million a year. And all of a sudden, we go from doing 100 mortgage loans a month down to 10, 90% drop in revenue. Not too many people can afford that. So I had kind of a crash landing and lost everything and had to rebuild from scratch. So there's definitely some failures along the way, but just, you always hear, just keep going. Hey, Dave, you were at this property a year ago when we were in a drought, and I had to extend my launch ramp like 30 feet. The water is so high, we lost our volleyball beach, and now it is beach volleyball in the water, which is hilarious. Both these
What is
poles,
that?
we had
The
so
lake's
much.
probably up like 60 feet, or what is it? I mean, how many feet is it? That's a long ways.
Yeah, I mean, it literally, the water went up 60 feet, and my next door neighbor's over there kind of fixing his dock. And if you notice, his dock's on wheels because he has to pull the dock every day up and down. I mean, Lake Elsinore is so funny the way they built the lake. It just, the water goes up and down 60 feet. So there's no way to have a dock, right? Unless you have it on wheels. My neighbor like built that dock himself. It's pretty interesting. Uh, yeah, it's funny. We had Eliminator Boats, the CEO, Jake, my friend, on the show a couple weeks ago, and I'm looking out at the lake. There's a speed lane out here with no speed limit, and I'm wondering if he's testing one of his Eliminator boats out there right now because it's perfect water, and I see a boat flying through the speed lane right now. It might be Jake from Eliminator. No, it looks like just a ski boat. But anyways, just feels great to be outside in the sun and talking about taking some business owners to the next level, you know?
Yeah. Well, we talked about the 6 steps, and we're starting off today in this workshop with assessing and evaluating your capacity to scale. And it's important to count the cost and to really get some clarity on some important questions before you start out on a journey to grow a business, or otherwise you can find yourself, sliding down this mountain in a big hurry. The average number of businesses, I think it's, what is it, 9 out of 10 now, fail within the first 10 years. And so the success rate is fairly small for the businesses that succeed. And if you want to have a business that's going to succeed, you're going to need to know the strategies and tactics that are going to help to make it to be successful. So this is the visual that we've talked about in the past with other business owners, is that, where do you see yourself in this picture? Are you a cliff climber? Are you going out there? And even this guy here, that's kind of kicking and scratching and seeing some rocks fall away, this guy's still climbing the mountain. This guy, obviously, or gal, is already at the top of the mountain. This person here is getting out of a comfort cave. And Jeff and I were just talking about this, is that, a lot of entrepreneurs can grow their business to a certain level of success, and then they camp out and get comfortable. And the idea of climbing to a new peak is a little too risky, because failure is a part of the process. And if you fail, then you may lose some of the creature comforts that you've gathered. Jeff, you want to talk about that a little bit more, about just those business owners that maybe have some creature comforts, they've got a lifestyle business, but to grow the business to where they really want to grow it and to really gain that time freedom, it's going to cost them something.
Yeah, I mean, starting with the big goal and then working backwards, that I watched a few business owners do that. I learned that at a very young age in my early 20s. It's like, wow, they want to do $10 million in business, and they know that a sales rep can sell $500,000 a year worth of business. So they just set a goal to go hire 20 sales reps, and amazing, they hit $10 million. I'm like, that wasn't that difficult. So scaling up a business through, ramping up sales and marketing has been the way that I've done it. I mean, there's other ways to do it, and content and software, on the internet, cloud-based businesses that are a little different, but it's just how are we going to scale up? I mean, there's different businesses, but yeah, starting, Stephen Covey, right, back in the 90s, start with the end in mind. Well, if the end was, for me, it was, I'm going to sell a company for $10 million, and I got to build revenue to 10 million and make $2 million in earnings to get a 5 times multiple. And that was my goal from the beginning. And it took 10 years to do it. And we far surpassed that revenue and earnings and exit number, which was great. But it starts with, I think, a number, and then working backwards. What does it take to get there? And then designing the plan around weekly steps to get there, and just chasing that number and that goal and that dream. But that part takes a lot of work. But when you're clear on your goals and you know what you need to do every month, every week, every day, you're either hitting it or you're not hitting it. So it's just holding yourself and your team accountable to get to those numbers. It just didn't seem all that difficult. It just takes some time and effort and some planning, some goal setting that you're serious about, not just, oh, it's pie in the sky number. Here's what we're going to do. Here's how long it's going to take to get there. And here's how we're going to do it. Building that plan is so crucial to start with,
Yeah. Well, the very first question that we're going to challenge all of you that are watching this live or watching the recording of it to answer is the question of motivation. Um, why do you want to grow your business? What's the purpose behind the growth? Because growing your business can have a whole bunch of reasons behind the reasons, right? There could be a lot of intrinsic reasons of why you want to do it. Maybe I just saw a video the other day, Jeff, that was talking about this gal had a business and she was doing like $7 million a year in revenue, and she wanted to take it to 100 million. And the business mentor that she was working with said, "Why do you want to do that?" And she says, "Because I want to prove to everybody that I could do the things that I said I could do. And all those people that didn't believe in me, all those people that ridiculed me, that made fun of me, I want to tell them all, go take a flying leap. I did it. And regardless of your lack of support, I still did it." And to prove to all of them that she was successful. And he said, "Well, do you know how many people build a business that has $7 million in annual revenue and that are female?" And she said no. And he looked it up and did a little search on Google, and it was 0.02% of the people, of women, built a business to $7 million. And he's like, "What else do you have to prove?" So you have to have good reasons, and they need to be valid reasons. You may have to spend some time thinking about it. But if you were to answer the question, why do I want to grow the business? Do you have a good reason for that? And if you keep asking the question, why is that important to me? And you do the 7 levels deep of why, where you're continuing to ask the question, why is that important to me? And why is that important to me? You're going to end up typically increasing your motivation to something that's beyond something that's topical. And a lot of times, it takes tremendous amount of motivation to climb this mountain. So it's hard. It's, the path of resistance versus coming down the mountain is the path of least resistance. It's going to be slippery. You're going to fall. You may end up, people may abandon you. The people that go up the mountain with you may start bailing, or they may end up getting hurt and they can't continue on. You may lose a business partner, lose a spouse to health issues, or have other challenges, and you're going to have a whole bunch of reasons to quit. So you need to know what is your strong purpose, why, and then what are you going to do? This is the second question as it relates to motivation. What are you going to do to stay motivated? And there's 5 things that you can do to stay motivated. And I'll list them off quickly. If you're not, or this is going to be recorded, so if you're not writing everything down, you can come back and rewatch it. And I would encourage you to do so. But the first thing you can do is you can watch. You can watch things that are going to help you to get motivated. Some of that's just watching a vision board, or watching a dream, or something that you've identified as a visual cue. You can also listen to yourself in voice notes. You can voice note your vision, and you can listen to yourself talking about your vision in the future. You can listen to podcasts, and you can listen to books of other entrepreneurs that have been successful. You can watch some videos that we produce, and go to our website, growmyprofit.com. We've got tons of videos and interviews that you can participate in. You can read books, you can read blogs, you can read content on the web. You can end up journaling. You can write out and journal what your vision is, and you can also talk to other growth-minded people about your dream and hear about their dream, because oftentimes people do what people do. But the big question we want to challenge all of you, and I want to throw it back to you, Jeff. What is it that was your why? You answered that already, but how do you stay motivated, Jeff? And I want everybody else to be writing that question down. How will I stay motivated, or how will I get motivated and stay motivated to grow this business at a 2 to 10x level in the next 3 to 5 years? Jeff, what would you say is your best methods?
Well, they say success is like the continual realization of worthwhile dreams and goals, right? So a lot of dreams and goals kept me motivated, and they were worthwhile. Some of them were have more time with my kids, or now, grandkid, first grandson, work a 4-day work week. When I go to Italy, I want to go with the Ferrari club and see the Ferrari factory private tour. There's things that were on my list that were very expensive, that were going to take a lot of big numbers to accomplish. So how do I stay motivated? I mean, just, setting goals, moving forward, worthwhile dreams and goals. Some of it's time, some of it's money, family relationships, giving back. They're all kind of come at different times. I would say they all started with, I want financial success, but um, I was able to, build two companies from zero to making $3 to $4 million a year, working 4-day work weeks. I haven't worked Fridays in 20 years. That was kind of cool. Just setting it up for the way I wanted to do it. I don't think you have to kill yourself working. I was just talking to a friend of mine who just bought a company. He said he worked over 100 hours last week. I'm like, 100? Dear God, that's crazy. Like, that's not exactly balance. I mean, sometimes that's what it takes, but how do you stay motivated? Worthwhile dreams and goals, and I have success because it's the constant achieve all that. So I've got some new goals, like my airplane, so I can get to Montana, house private, and fly the kids around and go mountain bike Sedona, Arizona, in the morning, and then come back that afternoon. Like, those are some bigger goals that I've set for myself to keep it going. I'm never not necessarily satisfied. I'm content but not satisfied. So I don't know. That keeps me motivated, and just different experiences in life, like going to Italy with 12 people that all own Ferraris and Ferrari Club, and seeing a tour of the factory and going around for a month. I mean, that was like just an unforgettable experience. I'm all about the experiences. What's next? I'd like to go back to the Monaco Grand Prix and hang out in the south of France. I only got to spend 2 days there, and it was fascinating. But to go back, I mean, if you're doing it nice, first class, that's a $40,000 trip, right? So it's like new goals, new dreams, stay motivated, new experiences, meeting people. There's always a higher level. I mean, I'm like a minnow in that big pond. It's kind of fun to see. I've had some success, but God, there's people that have 1,000 times more success than me that have amazing, even better experiences. And I want to experience all I can out of this short amount of time that, I'm on this earth. So why not?
Yeah, that's so good. And I think that I saw a comparison one time where it said there's entrepreneurs and then there's wannapreneurs. And I think that there's a lot of wannapreneurs that are actually in business for themselves, but they're also in business by themselves. They don't have a we, they have a me. And they're not growing a business. They're basically in a overglorified job where they are working nights, holidays, and weekends. They're, spending a lot of time and energy to keep their income and keep their lifestyle. And if that serves people, then that's definitely a value. But if you want to go from me to we, you better have some really good reasons of why to go about doing it. The next step or the next question in the assessment is the mindset. So, when we talk about mindset, we talk about that growth mindset versus a fixed mindset, because there's a lot of difficulties and challenges on the journey up this mountain. And if you're fixed on all the problems and all the things that you're not, or all the things that you don't have, you're not going to reach the peak of this mountain. But if you develop a growth mindset, which a growth mindset is coming from the book Carol Dweck wrote on mindset, which the mindset that's a growth mindset is an actual learned mindset where you're actually asking the question, how can I? So there's other people that have reached peaks of mountains in business. If you haven't, and you have a lot of challenges and adversity, you can still climb that mountain. Sir Edmund Hillary and Tenzing Norgay climbed Mount Everest in their very first time. I think it was in 1953. That's 29,029 feet, tallest peak from what I understand in the world. Since then, there's been over 5,000 other people that have successfully attempted and summited Mount Everest. One of them, a 13-year-old boy. Another one, a blind man. There's been double amputees or people that have lost their legs that have climbed Mount Everest. So when you think about a major physical feat, it can come back to just like your business feat is. How are you growing? So Jeff, what would you say is the way that you developed a can-do mindset where you were asking the question, how can I, versus, looking at all of your challenges and adversities and lack?
Yeah, I remember I met a guy who he was doing 10,000 mortgage loans per month. And I did the math. I'm like, if I could just do 100 loans a month, I could make $3 million a year. If this idiot can do 10,000, I know I can do 100. I mean, call that stupid, but I would meet people that were like $100 million guys, $1 billion guys, and be like, hey, they're good and they're smart and they got connections, but they're not that much better than me. If they can do 10,000, I could do 100, right? So I would just, I had a lot of mentors in my life and people that I read a lot of books, listened to a lot of audio, and figured out that these people really aren't that special, like they're smart and they work hard, but I'm somewhat smart and I work hard. Like if they can do it, I can do it. Sometimes my goals were set just based on watching other people that were 100 times more successful. That like if I just had a piece of what they have, I'm gonna have a great life, better than anybody I know or anybody, you know, um, friends and family. It was just call it a dumb way to set goals, but gosh, I would just meet people that were so much more successful. But I had to go out of my way to meet them, and then I had to learn a little bit about them, hear them talk, um, see the circles they ran in. What are you listening to? What are you reading? I just copied a lot of it. For me, that was because I came from middle class family with nobody's going to teach me how to do it. So, anyways.
Yeah, well, I know you're short on time. You've got an emergency you got to attend to, but can you answer this one last question, Jeff, that has to do with the third question around assets and how do I obtain the resources and funding needed for growth? And I know that there's lots of different ways that businesses can fund growth, but what would be your response as a business consultant, entrepreneur, successful business owner when it comes down to raising capital or getting access to capital? What are some of the different methodologies that you've used over the years?
I was just at the SaaS conference down in Austin, Texas, and I think the company that they were talking about, I want to say it was Calendly. So we use it, right? We use our calendar system, Calendly. And by the time the guy was ready to sell the company, I want to say he only owned 3% of it. So give away 10%, raise a million, give away 20%, raise 10 million. By the end of the day, it's like he's down to 3% ownership. So it sells for 100 million. Congratulations. Here's your $3 million check. That's terrible in my mind because he did all the work in those 60, 80-hour weeks. So when I built my business, I just decided I'm going to own 100% of it. I'm not going to raise any capital. I don't care if it slows me down. I guess if I would have raised capital and gotten a check for 10 million, maybe I could have grown it to $100 million company instead of 40 and done it in half the time. Who knows, right? But for me personally, I just did make sure you're selling something with high margins that has big gross profits so you can reinvest most of the profit into the company to grow it. So I never raised any capital. I owned 100% of it, privately owned. So when I sold it, I got all the money. But I know people that are super successful that do it other ways, Um, to make sure that you're selling a product with high margin, so it's going to make enough profit for you to take some of the money to pay your bills. I mean, I think my bills were 10 grand a month. I had to take 10 grand a month out of the company and not pay the IRS one year, right? To just build the company and build my first 5 salespeople. And then all of a sudden we're doing $3 or $4 million a year. And now the money's hitting the bottom line where I can get caught up and start paying things off. So that's just how I did it. I don't know if that's for everybody. None wrong with raising capital and having partners. It's just, have a scalable business, really look at the margins and that if you drive revenue, there's going to be enough profit to pay you and take the rest of it and reinvest in the company to grow a sales team, grow marketing, grow operations. That's just how I did it. But there's a lot of different ways to get there. And a lot of people way more successful than me. So that's just my story. And that was technically all 3 companies that I started were self-funded, but I worked really hard and was the only salesperson for the first, 6 to 12 months, just building enough revenue to cover my nut. Then I could take all the money and start investing and growing this thing to hit my real goals. It's a tough 6 months. That was, that first 6 months or 12 months is kind of tough, but then I'm out of it and I'm on a clear path to having time on my hands, time and some money and growing a company. So
Very good. Thanks for joining us today. And I know you got to get to your next opportunity, but I'll continue to land the plane here. So we've talked about the top 3: motivation, mindset, assets. So the question I want to challenge all of you to think about right now is, what is the different strategies that you currently know about to raise capital, grow assets, to fund growth in your business? And there's a great quote out there that says, it's not what you know that gets you into trouble. It's all the things that you know for absolute certain that just aren't so. There may be thoughts in your mind about your business and how you can grow it and how you can raise capital that may be limiting beliefs. They may actually not be true. They may be stories that you've created about your current reality or about your future that are not actually true. So, do you have the kind of belief that you have something that other people would want to invest in, whether it's, you know, the new products, the new services, the new warehouse, the new other things that you want to do to grow your business? And if you were to go out there and share your story, would you inspire people to want to help you to find the assets to grow your business? I mean, if you were to be asked today to tell me the story of how you want to grow your business and why you want to grow the business and how it can benefit other people or benefit the world and benefit the people that are going to invest in your business or loan you the money, would you have a compelling story that would make you attractive to the market? Because there's no shortage of financing. There's no shortage of assets. Money should not be the limitation. You don't have a money problem. You oftentimes have a thinking problem. You're thinking the wrong things, or you're not thinking about the right things. And so when you start brainstorming, I love the story of Dr. Robert Schuller when he was building the Crystal Cathedral. One of his stories in his book, Tough Times Don't Last, but Tough People Do. He talks about some of the really challenging things in his life that he went through. But when he decided to build the Crystal Cathedral, which is a large church in Southern California, um, he had this big dream that he would make this magnificent building that would honor God and would be attractive for people to want to come visit, and it'd just be a holy place. That was his dream or his vision and his calling. And so he had this vision of building this church, and it was going to cost, I believe, it started off being about $1 million back in the 70s. It quickly escalated to being $3 million. And so what he thought he was going to have to raise, it tripled on him. And then I believe that it actually grew to 7 or 8 or 9 million dollars over time once the vision continued to be expanded and pricing and bids started to come in. And I think that it ended up being somewhere in the ballpark of $10 million. So he says in the book, he came up with 10 ways to raise $10 million. The first way, to find somebody that would um, donate $10 million. The second way, find two people that would donate $5 million. The third way, and he just kept breaking it down to, he took what he needed and he started strategically thinking about, how can I do this? What are the different ways that I can raise the funding, and how can I explore different ways of doing it? And by having a really good story and a really good vision, he cast that vision on other people. And the way that the Crystal Cathedral was built, which was this amazing facility, was they sold individual pieces of glass as memoriams for people to buy as a way to remember their family members. So it was a lot of micro investments that were created to build this $10 million beautiful facility. And I believe it was debt free or close to debt free. And amazing opportunity that came out of just breaking it down and asking the question, how can I? And if you don't have a long list of how can I, then start talking with other people who have done what you want to do, or people that know people that have done what you want to do, and start asking for feedback and advice and asking for clues. Remember the phrase, this is a jotter downer, there's no shortage of funding available. There's a shortage of ideas, there's a shortage of connections, there's a shortage of belief, there's a shortage of confidence, there's a shortage of a great story. And all of those things can be developed. And that's the next area that we want to talk about today, and helping you to assess your capacity to scale is, what are the skill sets that you currently have, and what are the skill sets that are required to grow your business? Do you know what the differences are? Do you know what the skill sets are to run a business that's 2 to 10 times the size of your business? This would be a great question to answer to help you to accelerate your progress. Because if you don't know the skill sets that are necessary, you're going to oftentimes, if I use the visual of the mountain climbing process, is that you might end up spending a lot of time traversing the mountain. because you don't necessarily know the skill sets of making the ascent. And again, you can climb mountains going around it and, traversing your way all the way, but it may take you 10, 15, 20, 30 years to get to the top of the mountain if you're not making an ascent and going in a more direct route. So when you look at Mount Everest, is that there's certain skill sets that those climbers need to develop to get to the summit. There's also certain tools and other mindset and motivation strategies that are required, as well as physical capacity, but they know what the skill sets are. They're not confused of what the skill sets are because there's clues of other people that have scaled Mount Everest that they just go back and they look, what did those people do? Now, Sir Edmund Hillary and Tenzing Norgay, the first ones to do it, they were the pioneers, but there's plenty of innovators that have already innovated the process. All you have to do is simply follow in their footsteps and create the opportunity based upon their success. You don't have to reinvent the path. You don't have to blaze a new trail unless you are an innovator that's bringing new technology or new products to market. But you don't have to reinvent it. There's already people that have done it. You just simply have to go in there and investigate and be an investigator on what are the skill sets that I'm currently missing, and then think about, is it something that I need to develop as a skill set, or do I just need to have the skill set to hire the person that has that skill set? One of the great books I've read recently, the Who Not How by Dr. Benjamin Hardy and Dan Sullivan, talks about that it's not necessarily the skill sets that you have, it's learning the skill sets to find and acquire relationships with the right who's so that they can do the hows. So you may not be in a position where you have skill set to raise financing, but there may be somebody out there that you may know or know somebody that you know who has that capacity, and you might be able to partner with them to do the fundraising, or you might have the opportunities to partner with people that have skill sets that have innovation or technology or manufacturing or warehousing. There may be a company out there that's already doing some of the things that you want to do that you may end up acquiring, or you may end up doing a joint venture with them. But the question for the workshop today, for question number 4, is what is it that you need to learn to grow 2 to 10x in the next 3 to 5 years? And if you have a big question mark and you say, I don't know, then I would be looking for the answer to that question and getting feedback from a plurality of leaders of other people that have done it. And this is going to be a place where you can come and do a workshop setting with us. We'd be happy to reach out to you and talk through some of these questions that you may have, such as what skills. There is a free business assessment that helps you to kind of collect some of this information. You can go to growmyprofit.com and complete the free assessment, and you can get some of the feedback in a private consultation where we're happy to meet with you and talk through some of that. But that's available for no cost. Just go to the website, take the free assessment. All right, ready for number 5? If you have questions, I'd love to see it in the chat. I'd love to answer or address any questions or concerns on any of the content that we've covered. So if you have a question or have a comment, please go ahead and share that, and we'll maybe call on some of the people that are here with us to share a little bit more about their experiences. So the next question is, what are the proven strategies to grow successfully? So when you think about your business and you look at your business from a growth standpoint, what are the strategies that are going to help you to scale? Remember those 6 steps that we talked about? First one was assessment. The second one is in the area of business planning. So business planning from a documentation strategy of what is the vision of your business? What's the mission of your business? The vision is the quantitative results that you're trying to create. What is it that you want your business to be, do, and have? The mission statement is unquantifiable. It's not something that you can measure. It's just a purpose or a direction that you'd like to be headed. And if you look at some of the major corporate mission statements, you'll see that most of them are to serve to better all humankind, things of that nature. You can't measure that in a measuring performance standard or a metric. You can measure it by looking at the organization and saying, Are we hitting the milestones that we had established for ourselves that's moving us towards our vision? And if that answer is yes, then we are on mission or on purpose. The next area of the business plan is the area of financial plan, financial metrics. What are the key performance indicators? Jeff talked about the idea of having a financial scorecard that helps you to break down the financial metrics so that you stay on target. And that's going to be different for the different businesses that are here. So I'm not going to get into specific details, but I will let you know that we do have a resource that's a financial scorecard that you can use as a template. And if you just email us at support@growmyprofit.com, we can send you a copy of it. If you do the business assessment, you automatically get a copy of it electronically. It's automatically sent to you. So I'd encourage you to just go through the business assessment. It doesn't take more than maybe 5 minutes to go through, but it challenges you to answer some important questions about your current reality and about your future opportunities. And then it gives you some feedback as to where you can focus and improve. And then it prompts some deliverables to be sent to you. The next piece after knowing your financial metrics is the area of marketing. So do you have the strategies to scale your business and attract the number of incoming leads or the incoming clients and customers to grow revenue to the point where you want to grow it? If you don't have those skill sets, go back to the who, not how strategy. Who is it that has those strategies? Is it a marketing coach, marketing professional, marketing consultant? Who's the person that you need to talk to? And we can definitely provide references and opportunities for you to go talk to expert marketers, and we can share strategies with you. We have a full-blown marketing strategy that we can give to you that breaks down all of the techniques and tactics, and then we work as a consultant with business owners to help them to identify what are the key strategies that you're going to use to generate incoming leads. And I'll just show that real quick. Let me just bring that up for you all so that you can see it, and then I'll share a copy of it in the chat message so everybody can get access to it. All right. I just sent it. I just sent the links in the chat message. I'll put this also with the recording of this video so that everybody can have access to it. But there's an overview of this business optimizer, and then there's also a PDF version of it. It's an Excel document that we utilize. It's on Google Sheets, and I'll just give you a quick little tour of how you can utilize this. And this is a free service. This is something we give away to anyone that wants to utilize it. When you go to this particular link, and this is explained in the overview video that I included, but if you just go to File, Make a Copy, you can make a copy of this and put it in your own Google Drive. If you don't have Google Drive, you can sign up for an account with creating an email address on Google. You can also go in there and click on File, and you can click on Download, and you can download a copy in Excel, or you can download a copy in PDF. And there's a PDF version also included in the chat and in the description of this video that's going to give you access to view this resource. So we have a little assessment here. This is just a short version of it. It's not the complete assessment where we end up giving you a breakdown of, hey, where are you at? And these particular 6 areas of our 6 steps. We have some motivational strategies around building some motivation around your own personal life plan. Like, what do you want to be, do, and have personally? That's kind of going back to your why. Why are you growing this business? And then we've got these questions that help you to clarify your mission statement. There's 15 questions that's helping you to clarify your mission statement and then translating that into a very short paragraph that's easily transferable to your team or to clients, customers, partners, investors, things of that nature. Then you've got the 5-year vision statement, which most people have the capacity to think 5 years out, and that's about it. Maybe 3 years with all the changes and technology. But these 15 questions will help you to get out of your head what it is that you want to create. And going back to that quote, focus precedes success. If you don't know where you're going and you don't know why you're going there, there's a hard chance that you're going to get there. So making sure you've got a good business plan that's got a good, clear vision and mission that's going to attract a culture and attract a group of people to be a part of what it is that you're doing. You know, when Steve Jobs recruited the CEO of PepsiCo, he brought him to his organization, which was not the success of Apple that it is today. But Steve Jobs said, you know, do you want to keep selling sugar water, which PepsiCo is a little bigger than sugar water, but his comment was, do you want to keep selling sugar water or soda, or do you want to come change the world? And Apple has definitely changed the world in lots of different capacities. And that's what drew him to the idea of working for Apple. It wasn't because they had a superior product. It was because that he could actually make a difference and he wanted to have a bigger impact. We also talk about time blocking as another capacity skill set. You know, if your calendar does not match your growth goals, you will not achieve the success that you desire. If you do not have good skill sets in managing your priorities, there's a very little chance that you're going to see the growth that you desire. You're going to hit this ceiling of complexity or ceiling of limitation because you have a calendar that's filled with low leverage activities, or you're constantly responding to the urgent, you're not actually executing on the high leverage activities that will scale your business. So going into your calendar and looking at, what does my week need to look like to make sure that I execute on the business goals? These are the business goals that we actually put in there. You can end up editing this document to serve your particular business, but this is just a simple calculation where if you actually just type in the numbers and you choose the percentage point of how much your conversion rate is, you can get to a desired annual income, and you can break it down to specific details as to what it is that you need to do to make sure that you hit your mark. And this is one version of it. We also have a goal tracking document that you can edit and make it to be more particular to your business. But if there's a certain conversion rate that you need to hit, and this is a simple metric of managing your personal productivity or your salespeople's productivity. Once you have a larger organization, you can end up going into a more detailed plan where you have a full breakdown. And this is a dashboard that we customize for our consulting clients, but we can help you to break down the key performance indicators based upon the salespeople that you have. And then we can have some data that comes out in terms of summaries and other documents to keep you really making sure that you're moving your business forward. Another piece that we talked about is the idea of breaking down who your ideal client profile is. Having good marketing strategies and knowing who your target market is, who's the ideal person. Many business owners have never sat down and gotten clarity on that. Do you have clarity? If you do, congratulations, but this is a big step. This is a strategy that you're going to want to employ if you want to have good success and a high predictability of growth. Your SWOT analysis. What is your unique value proposition? If I was to ask you today, what is the unique value proposition or unique selling proposition? What is the thing that separates you from your competitor? I'd love to see it in the chat. I'm going to check the chat. If you were to say, what is the thing that separates you from the crowd or from the other people that are your competitors? What would you say is your primary distinguishable difference? Do you know what it is? Let's see it in the chat. JW asked a question, what if you have multiple businesses? How should you focus on growth for each one? I would say in that particular situation, JW, I would really want to identify my highest value priorities. House divided will not stand, right? And you can't have two mountains being climbed at the exact same time. So you're going to want to have a prioritized order. And I think that you can flip-flop different businesses based upon priorities, but you're going to need to know where your priorities are and then organize your calendar around that priority or that value that you really desire. And so making sure that you've got businesses that have breakdowns of where they're going, why they're going there, when they want to go there, and where does your time need to be best spent in each one of those businesses. Going back to the who, not how, do you have the right who? Because if you're focusing in on fulfilling all of the how, and you don't have the right who's, you may struggle to build both of them. But if you have the right who's, so again, you're not struggling with the how do I get this done? You're saying, who can I find to do the things that are necessary to scale both of these businesses? I want to move myself from me to we. And that we doesn't have to be an army of people. It can just be, a few people. But when you start to identify who those people are, and you can start putting those people into place, whether it's a consultant or a outsourced employee, or maybe you're outsourcing to a professional employment organization. Um, all those different opportunities don't require more staff. It could just be external services. So, and your unique value proposition, what is the thing that separates you? Here's one that says, I think what separates me is my experience and my ability to implement. So, to the person that wrote that, I'm just going to challenge you and say, can any of your competitors say the same thing? Would any of your competitors say the same thing? Because if they're able to say the same thing, and I would say that there could be somebody, and there may not be, but I would say there could be somebody that would have the same unique value proposition. They may have experience and the ability to implement as well. So how could you take your experience and your ability to implement and make it to be so only you could say that? So how many years of experience, how many clients have or customers have you served? How much have you sold? What's been your specific experience? So maybe you have a specific experience in a specific type of industry or specific type of niche. Ability to implement. How could you qualify or quantify that to be more specific and driven towards something that only you could say? So an example would be as a coach, I've coached for 25 years. And in the last 25 years, I've been able to assist over 25,000 people to implement successful plans and goals and to have a success that far out exceeds um, other people that are in a similar coaching relationship as me. So when I came up with a number of 25,000, when I came up with a number of 25 years, that could be something that only I could say, or I could keep drilling it down. Another thing that you can do to create a unique value proposition that's unique to you is, could you offer something of value that only you could offer? So you could have it to be your ABC Incorporation or ABC Corporation's $1,000 guarantee or 24-hour customer service guarantee. If we don't respond to your email, text, call, or visit within 24 hours, we'll pay you $100 or pay you $1,000. That could be something that separates you if you want to use customer service as a form of unique value, or if you want to use your experience. We will provide a executable implemented, I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. We are going to provide you with a successful implementation plan within 24 hours of our first initial consultation. And we're going to back that up with over 25 years of experience servicing 172 clients in 14 industries. And that's the reason why people come to work with us, is because of that experience and because of that level of implementation. Do you see the differences of how you can present that to really drive down uniqueness? Um, Obviously, a SWOT analysis is not new information. What's new is actually using it. A lot of business owners, they know what they need to do, they just need to do it. But they oftentimes don't, because they're so busy and they're reacting to all of their priorities. So this is a strategy that needs to be learned. Having a marketing plan, this is an example of a marketing plan where we break it down into 3 different phases. So you've got 3 different phases of marketing. You've got your lead generation, you've got in process or while a person is currently being serviced by you, and then you've got the client retention side of things. So in this strategy, we're going to talk about what are the things that you do for lead generation. And then there's a whole bunch of different activities that you can think about for strategies of how you're going to utilize those strategies to get your desired outcome. And then there's the frequency. How often are you going to do it? And all of these things are things that you can end up leveraging. Um, you just have to decide what is the target, who's the target audience that you're going to be doing these specific uh, activities with, and what's the frequency, and then what's your marketing budget. If you fail to create your own plan, chances are you're going to fall into somebody else's plan. And guess what your clients or customers or competitors have planned for you? Not much, right? So you want to build your strategies into your marketing plan, and then you want to exit on those marketing strategies. You can also break out that marketing strategy into a calendar. You can start to identify, here's the things that we're going to do in January, so that you're not suffering from random marketing disorder. You're actually working according to a plan, and then you're verifying and validating, is that plan working? If I was to go back and look at your business, and I'd say, where did your business in 2023 come from? Did you have success at a certain level? I mean, what are the things that you could come back to and say, here's the number of leads that we got from our past clients. Here's the number of leads that we've got from email marketing. Would you be able to quantify your results to be able to give feedback and say, yes, this is something that um, we can continue to do, and we're still getting good return on our investment there. Most individual business owners do not have this level of strategy. So they basically keep wasting money on things that are not working, or they waste time and resources and energy. And that's where those costs can begin to mount up that decrease profit, because they're just doing things because they've always done them. And that doesn't necessarily equal success. So having good strategies for marketing. There's other things that we could talk about. We won't go into great details, but building referral partners. Most of you have people of influence that could refer business to you, but you have never really cultivated a referral relationship with them. So we talk about building referral strategies and building a depth chart of who are some of those key referral, maybe not these targets or these topics, but there may be areas of accountants, financial planners, or suppliers, or affiliates. I mean, who are the people that you are cultivating a relationship with in different categories? And do you have them in order of priority so that you know who your most valuable players are, your most valuable partners are? And then who are the ones that you're bringing on that are hot prospects that may be competing for that top spot as your top referral source? So you get a general idea of where you're going with this concept of having strategies. And if you don't have a strategy that is proven, then borrow the successful strategies of others. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. It takes too much time. You won't scale 2 to 5 or 2 to 10x in 3 to 5 years if you're constantly reinventing the wheel and trying to create it from scratch. Okay. So let's move on to the sixth area, and then we'll hopefully bring this up for some discussion. If you have more conversations or questions, please feel free to share them in the chat, and I'll call on you as we wrap things up. So the sixth area, or the sixth question that we want you to be able to answer is, what do you honestly need to give up to achieve your business growth goals and dreams? What are the sacrifices that you're prepared to make? Because scaling this mountain is going to take a sacrifice. You're either sacrificing the time, you're sacrificing your energy, you're sacrificing your money. Um, what is it that you're willing to sacrifice? And have you agreed to make that sacrifice? Because what happens to a lot of entrepreneurs that we work with is that they oftentimes will be making sacrifices on the journey, and they've never really signed up for that. And, I love the quote that says, if I would have known what it would have cost me, I wouldn't have made the payment. It's like sometimes we sacrifice our health to gain our wealth or to gain our business success. And then the last half of our life, we end up giving our wealth to gain our health back. And some of that can't be regained. There's some things that are completely lost, and there's other challenges that can come from lifestyle related diseases, or you may lose relationships, or you may lose friendships, or other things. And I'm not saying that you have to sacrifice everything that's important to you to achieve your goals and dreams, and you shouldn't. And where the big awakening is for most business owners is if they know that there's a season of sacrifice, if you know that this mountain climbing journey is going to take 2 to 5 years, okay, I can sacrifice for 2 to 5 years. I can make decisions that, like Dave Ramsey says, I can act like no other so I can live like no other. There are times when you can live with less resources. You can reinvest your profits back into the growth of your business. But if you're doing that for 15, 20, 30 years, your spouse, your kids, there may be other people that are kind of like, man, we're making too big of a sacrifice. And only you can be the one that decides, what sacrifices are appropriate to achieve the success that you desire. But we've seen so many different business owners, and we've been those business owners who made sacrifices and gave up things that were really valuable to find success. And if we were given that same opportunity to do it over again and we had some insights, we wouldn't have made those sacrifices. We would have lived with better balance or better integration. So I know that's a deeper question for each one of us to have a discussion or dialogue about. But think about, what are the things right now that you need to sacrifice? It could be small things like scrolling on social media. You may have gotten a bit of an addiction to the opioid that gets released in our head when we scroll through, entertaining posts. There may be things that you are really competent at, and you have a certain level of control with them, but you need to sacrifice that. You need to give that up, and you need to go spend time in your business 2, 4, 10 hours a week in business development. Or you may have to sacrifice some creature comforts and cut back on some of your living expenses to hire that new assistant or to hire that new salesperson. You may have to sacrifice some of your time or some of your ideas to implement proven ideas, because you may have some ideas of things that you'd like to try, but they're not proven and it's expensive if they don't work. So you may have to give up some of the negative thoughts. You may have to give up some of the um, strategies that you have been trying, but they haven't necessarily worked. And you may have to go to something that's more proven, that maybe isn't as immediately enjoyable, but it delivers more predictable results. The next section, the final section, the seventh question, is in the area of time. And we talked a little bit about that as it relates to, organizing your calendar around your goals and making sure that it matches your goals and your dreams. But how much time are you willing to devote to working on your business? And how much time are you willing to devote to work in your business? And if most of you are like many of us as entrepreneurs, we're working in our business a lot. They say that entrepreneurs only work half days. Pick any 12 hours you choose, right? I mean, sometimes it's a half day deal and it's 7 to 7 or it's 6 to 6 or 18 hours. But how much time are you willing to invest into your business? And if you were to be an investor and you were looking to get a return on your investment, what's your expectation? There's only 168 hours in a week. If you invest 40 hours a week into high leverage activities and you invest another 10 hours a week working on your business, that would be considered to be a high leverage activity, but it's working on your business versus in your business. How could that change your business? If you spent 10 hours a week dedicated, or 10 hours a month. I love the 23-minute rule, where if you spend 23 minutes a day working on your business versus working in your business all the time, if you were to compound that 23 minutes throughout the entire year, every single day, even if you were to take 2 weeks of vacation, I think that it's like 6 40-hour work weeks. So 6 weeks, 40 hours a week. I mean, imagine if you took 6 weeks of your 2024 calendar year and you invested 6 weeks working on your business, refining your business plan, developing your financial plan, really going in and building an operations plan, making sure that you had standard operating procedures or processes documented. If you had key job descriptions, roles and responsibilities. If you could really go to work on training your staff, training your team, or spending time working on how to integrate technology, or spending more time simplifying, streamlining things to create more efficiency. If you spent 6.5 weeks a year working on your business, what do you think the difference would be in 2 to 5 years? Would it be significant? I would assume it would be. What if you spent an hour every day working on your business? 30 minutes in the morning, 30 minutes in the evening. Or if you had a dedicated day. Jeff has done this for many years where he has chosen not to work on Fridays. He works 4 10-hour days typically, and then he takes Fridays to work on his business. He doesn't spend the day always out there jet skiing or being on the boat or going to the beach. Oftentimes he uses that Friday to work on himself, reading books, but just getting out of the office and not being in an environment where he has to be constantly in the business. He goes to work on himself, on the business, strategizing, thinking. And part of that is taking great care of himself, meaning doing things that are enjoyable. Because if you're giving your business what's left of you versus the best of you, you're not going to grow 2 to 10x in the next 3 to 5 years, running off of empty. You're not going to be able to accomplish that. You're not going to have the energy to deal with the kind of stuff that happens when you are in the growth mode. So, as a recap, as we go back through the questions, and if you missed some of the questions, I'll give them to you again here. So let's walk through them together, okay? So the very first question that we talked about was, how do I get and stay motivated to grow my business? So 2 questions. How do I get motivated? And then how do I stay motivated? Remember the 5 specific tactics on how do you get motivated? Watch, read, or listen, read, write. What are the things that you can write down and journal about so your own words can become your own motivation? And we can give you some journaling questions if you find that to be valuable for you. And then the 5th thing to motivate yourself and to stay motivated is surrounding yourself with other people that are growth minded, who are speaking about the things that they want to be, do, and have. Just being here today and hearing me and Jeff talk, maybe you became more motivated by some of the things that we talked about because you were surrounding yourself with people who've done what you wanted to do. And remember, people do what people do. So if you put yourself in an environment where you're going to be around people that are doing what you want to do or who've done what you want to do, you're going to be more motivated to do it than if you are isolated or surrounding yourself with a bunch of SNIOPs or a bunch of negative people that are subject to the negative influence of other people. So motivation, how am I going to get and stay motivated to grow my business? The second question was, how do I develop a growth mindset to overcome adversity? How am I going to continue to develop a positive perspective on negative situations? And that may require some education. Most of us are still operating off of implanted and imprinted beliefs that we were given to us, throughout our history. We're not working off of inspired beliefs or inspired thought processes that challenge us to think of, why is this happening for me? Or maybe this is happening for me rather than to me if you have challenges or setbacks. So really developing a mindset of growth, a mindset of I can or how can I, rather than I can't or it's too hard or it's impossible. Anybody that has that type of mindset is not going to be on a trajectory of accelerated growth in the next 2 to 5 years. The third question was, how do I obtain the resources and funding needed for growth? And we talked about breaking down all the different strategies that you know how to do, and then reaching out, talking to other people that have raised funding or have increased their business, doing bootstrapping the way that Jeff did. There's ways that you can do it. And then do you have a good story to tell to people that have money to invest? There's no shortage of capital. There's only a shortage of ideas, a shortage of thoughts and beliefs, and a shortage of activity reaching out to people that have access to the funding. Skills. What do I need to learn to grow 2 to 10x in the next 3 to 5 years? What do I need to do to grow 2 to 10x in the next 3 to 5 years? What are the skill sets? Is it in the area of leadership? Is it in the area of operations? Is it in the area of management, sales, technology? What are the skill sets that I need? And then who are the people who I can bring along with me and join me in my team who may be a vendor, a partner, and a team member, an employee, um, or maybe there's a technology that can end up taking on the responsibility of the skills that I don't have. I don't need I don't need to have high organization skills if I have a technology that can do that for me. I just need to learn how to leverage the technology, and that's the skill that I would need to develop. But what have you got in terms of skills, and then what do you need to scale your business? The next area was strategies. What are the proven strategies to grow successfully? And we talked through some of the marketing and marketing referral strategies and the business planning strategies. There's all kinds of different strategies, and I hope that you will continue to participate in the future sessions. We're going to have 5 additional sessions. Starting next Monday will be the second session, and that'll be the first day of the 30-day challenge that will run May 1st through May 30th. We're going to do a 30-day challenge, and we're going to meet every single week for up to 2 hours, working through each step of the 6 steps to scale your business. So today we talked a lot about assessing your capacity to scale. Next Monday, May 1st, we're going to talk about building your business plan and your financial scorecard, identifying what are the key metrics and key indicators, key performance indicators that are going to help you to scale your business. The second or the third session would be happening on May 8th. That's going to be building your marketing plan and answering some of those questions around strategies, ideal client profile, your calendar, really putting that time into working on your business so that your business is working because the business system that you created is working, and you are delegating or handing off responsibility to help other people to manage that plan or manage the process that you've created. The fourth session, which is going to be happening on May 15th, is going to be all about building out your sales process and understanding how to build a sales team, going from me to we, whether that's an outsource where you're utilizing third-party resources to drive sales, whether you're developing a sales team internally for inbound sales or outbound sales development. This is an area that Jeff and I have a lot of experience, and so we're going to share with you ways that you can scale your sales team or ways that you can scale your sales business using outside third-party resources. The final session, I'm sorry, we got May 1st is business planning, May 8th is marketing, May 15th is sales, May 22nd is going to be leadership, where we're going to talk about leadership skills and how to grow through challenges as you grow your business. What are some of the things that you're going to need to deal with to grow your leadership ability? And again, this is not going to be done in 30 days. It's a process, not an event, but you're going to learn really important leadership techniques, strategies, and habits to help you to become the person that will allow you to lead a business that's 2 to 10 times the size of the business that you have now. The final week on the 29th of May, we'll talk about operational systems, how to streamline your operations, technology tools, and other third-party resources that will really help you to scale your business without having to add additional expenses or big budget ticket items. And we'll talk a little bit more about how we've been able to streamline some of our operations to help all of you to accelerate your process. So those were the big ones that those are the 6 steps, and those are the next 5 sessions that we're going to be going through to help you to participate. And if you are a member of our 30-day challenge, I'll put the link in the description of this video. You can participate in those sessions. You can gain access to our platform, and I'll just give you a quick little review. I did see a question. Gary asked the question, what is the mindset author's name? Carol Dweck is the name. Off the top of my head, I can't remember exactly how to spell it, but the name of the book is called Mindset. Very popular. If you Google growth mindset, Carol Dweck, it'll send you right to where you need to go, and they'll get you some more details on that. So let me just give you a high level overview of the 30-day challenge. So this is once you join the challenge, you're going to get access to what we call Scale University, which is our online learning platform through school. And you'll be able to access all of the member-only content there. You also get a chance to access the courses. So the Scale platform is a learning management system. There's ability to interact, and we've got some discussions that are already happening there. We've also got all the upcoming events, as well as all of the different courses that we've created. So we've got a full breakdown of a course on scaling your business, and there's lots of different worksheets and things that are all digitized. There's other videos that you can watch. So if you really want to be a part of a process where you're learning how to take these 6 steps, you can join the 30-day challenge and kind of use that as a jump start to get off to a great start. And then you can download resources. There's specific resources that you can pull down from each one of the pages. Not every page has a resource, but there are definitely valuable tools that you can use to save yourself some time. And then we're going to have these weekly workshops where you're going to get a chance to participate every Wednesday in the month of May for up to 2 hours in a workshop setting. As we get into more of the detailed resources, we'll have more dialogue and discussion amongst the members of the challenge and for people that are participating live. This is, as I said, the first session is on business planning, where we'll really help you to cast a vision for your business and really start driving down some key metrics to put into your business plan. We're not going to be talking about a business plan that you're going to turn into a bank that you're going to get funding on. There's other resources that you can use, but we're looking more of like a workable business plan that can be a financial scorecard and a guide to you. And then that week on May 8th, you're going to have the marketing and lead generation workshop, which you can see some really important questions will be answered during that workshop, and we'll be dialoguing and sharing strategies. Jeff's got a marketing agency background it was the business that he sold, so he'll give you some more details on that. And then the 15th will be the sales growth workshop, where we'll talk through recruiting, hiring, interviewing questions. Jeff has a great strategy around what questions to ask to really understand who's a good salesperson. We also will talk about outsourcing so that you don't have to think about just building a sales team. If you're a new business owner, there's some strategies you can use to leverage technology and third-party resources to help you to drive your sales. And we'll talk a little bit more about sales incentives, how to incentivize your sales staff, how to train them, and the key elements that you want to be incorporating into your business training for sales growth. Week 4 on the 22nd of May is the leadership section. And then we've got week 5 is improving your systems workshop. So all of those workshops will be included in the challenge, and we have a really good community of people that will be dialoguing and encouraging one another. We're also going to do a nice opportunity where we can celebrate and recognize the progress that we've made. So just having a good group of people that are surrounding you for encouragement and support and motivation. And then we're going to give a grand prize. We're going to give access to the most active member who's been participating the most in the challenge. We're going to give them a opportunity to come out and visit Jeff's lake house, which Jeff was at this particular session. You saw a little preview of it. There is a video overview of the house if you want to take a look at it. It's pretty amazing. I think it's 7,000 square feet and just a beautiful space to come out and hang out. And that'll be all about the mastermind and bringing you into an environment where you get a chance to work with Jeff and I and really roll up our sleeves to go to work on your business, and how to scale it. So we've had some success in these environments before, so we really hope that you join up with us and participate in the 30-day challenge. And if you don't want to participate, we hope that you gained a tremendous amount of value today. We hope that this has been educational and encouraging and enlightening to you, because as Jeff said, we're entrepreneurs at heart. We know the struggle, we know the challenges. So our goal for today was just to be a giver and to give a lot of value. You have access to the optimizer, you have access to our videos on our website. if you'd like to have access to the challenge, it's a $97 investment for a 30-day involvement, and all kinds of free resources being given away. If you want to learn more about our consulting and our partnership opportunities, we partner with business owners that want to scale, and we come in as a fractional executive to come in and help them to drive revenue and organize their marketing. So if that's something of interest to you and you qualify and meet what we're looking for, we'll definitely have a conversation with you while we're going through the challenge. So with all that being said, any questions, concerns? Has this been helpful for you? Big nod if it's been helpful to you, hopefully, or no, maybe not. And good to see you. Thanks, Dan. Thanks, Gary. Thanks, JW, and all the others that are watching the recording. We're looking forward to some feedback. So reach out to us if you have any questions, growmyprofit.com. And with that, have a great Wednesday, everybody. Hope to see you next Wednesday when we kick off session 1. Take care.